Behind every face and every action, there's a name. And the search for those names, well, that's where these stories begin. I'm Fox 4 senior reporter Caitlin Knapp, and I'm on a mission to get to know the names we know and perhaps find the ones we don't, along with detectives working in the same communities you call home. We're all working to find answers and closure in these sunshine crimes.
Not every cold case starts with a murder and ends with the search for a killer. This one is about the kidnapping of 3-week-old baby Bryan 18 years ago. He's an adult now, and Fort Myers cold case detectives believe that he's still out there, somewhere, alive.
On November 3rd, 2006, Maria dos Santos Ramos brought baby Bryan into the world.
He's their first child.
But not even a month later,
Their entire world was just shattered.
on December 1st, baby Bryan, Maria, her friend Janice, and her baby girl walked to the Family Health Center in Fort Myers before heading to this bus stop on Cleveland and Edison. Out of nowhere, a black SUV pulled up.
This is where the unsub's vehicle came in to stop and ask them for directions.
Unsub, or the unidentified subject, was a woman who asked how to get to Pine Manor. Fort Myers cold case detective Richard Harrison and Michael Iarasi say the women were offered money to help, but they said no.
They both get on the bus, and according to them, they get off at the bus stop at Linhart.
Not too far behind, the same SUV came from the opposite direction. The detectives say it was a 98 or 99 black Ford Explorer.
But I wouldn't know why the unsub would know that they would get off this particular bus stop, unless she was following the bus.
Harrison says the woman then followed them here.
And this was their house, 43.
She asked them, again, to help her get to Pine Manor.
Both women, Janice and Maria, get into the back seat of the SUV with their children.
As they were driving, the woman told Maria and Janice she gave birth to a baby boy 11 days ago. But was it true? Well, Harrison says there was a car seat, a diaper, and a teddy bear in the SUV.
She says that her baby boy's name is Jose Guadalupe, and the baby's being kept at a home in Pine Manor where her mother lives. However, she doesn't know where that house is.
At one point, the woman used Janice's phone. She said she needed to call her mom. But Harrison says that was a ruse.
That phone call later on is found to go to what's called a poll room, where people congregate who are landscapers or working irrigation.
She left 2 voicemails, and when they got to Pine Manor, they drove around, but didn't find the house the woman claimed to be looking for. So the driver took Maria and Janice back home. Harrison says Janice and her daughter were told to get out.
Maria is told to stay in the car with baby Bryan. Then the woman takes off and makes a right.
Janice frantically flagged down a father and son who followed the SUV, but ended up losing them in traffic. The SUV was caught once on camera here, going south on Cleveland, before it stopped at this Estero church.
She says that the unsub has a knife in her hand and threatens to hurt her if she doesn't get out of the car.
Maria got out, and the woman gave her $5 to make a call so she can get home. Home. Without baby Bryan. In a second, he was gone, and that's where the manhunt for Bryan began.
Some of the characteristics of this case are extraordinary.
There was a lot of speculation in this case. Theories the detectives say could get in the way of a good investigation.
Is there any reason to believe that baby Bryan was targeted?
We don't know that. We know back in 2006, they both the mother and father did come into the country via coyotes.
But they question why coyotes would kidnap a baby. Beyond the theories, the detectives say they're sticking to what they do know. Remember that name, Jose Guadalupe? The woman said that was her baby's name?
We feel as though there's a nexus between her making this telephone call to the pole shed. One of the people who actually stayed and lived at a house next to that pole shed, his name was Jose Guadalupe.
The man who lived there has a son who worked at the pole shed.
We suspect that whoever may be involved in this may have some type of connection to shore irrigation.
What the connection is, well, that's what detectives are trying to figure out.
Again, we enhanced the voice message that was left.
They're also looking to identify her, the woman who Maria says kidnapped Bryan. Detectives are also looking at prior kidnappings around the country.
This helps us gauge what we're looking for and, has someone done it before?
There's reason to believe this woman did in Fort Myers. That's because the same day Bryan was kidnapped, another woman reported a similar crime. A woman in a black SUV went up to her and asked for directions, but she did not get in the car. And remember those quarters? Well, the detectives are sending them off to test for DNA, along with Maria's dress. But the main goal, find baby Bryan.
We haven't uncovered anything that says Bryan is deceased.
An age progression photo from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children shows what he may have looked like at 14. Now, they're working on a new one, 18-year-old Bryan. Aya Rossi has this message for Bryan, who is hopefully still out there watching this.
Your family is here. They love you, they miss you, and they want nothing more than to reunite.
We're not going to give up.
Detectives say if Bryan takes an ancestry test, he would pop into the system. As for those enhanced messages and the new picture of Bryan, well, we're still waiting for those to be released, and I'll bring that to you when I do get those. But for now, if you know anything about the kidnapping of 3-week-old baby Bryan, you're asked to call Fort Myers Police. In Estero, Caitlin Knapp, Fox 4.